the military is probably going through an identity crisis that I want to say has been something that has been seen and probably been understood, but now we've seen finally everything unfold as the final straw has broken. And let's see, what does this mean for the future of the US military? Let's take ourselves back 20 years when everything kicked off, when I'm not going to mention the name of this entire place because YouTube censorship, or what happened 21 years ago where things fell down and we went to another country and we said, we as a United States became very much united. I can tell you I lived near a military base where there was a red, white, and blue flag flying across every vehicle, house, everywhere. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't know if I will ever see that unity ever again as a country as I did during that time. Now, 20 years of having this happen or start based off the goodness of just wanting to have justice for 3,000 people is honorable. And I would say recruiters weren't having to really work because there were people just wanting to come in the military. Very different time than what we're looking at right now. Even when we knocked out the top guy, what do you think happened? Nothing changed. We were still there because it's the ideology that was there. It was what embedded us there as we knew there was still more work to do. And this wasn't going to be easy, as we've seen from the British and so many other people or other countries or nations go through this and have to try and deal with this. And it's never been a success story. And the identity crisis comes as this one ends and kind of this new thing we've talked about for the past 5, maybe almost 10 years, I would say, of the uprising power of China. And so when you look at it, it's like that is distant. No one has known anyone that's really gone to China. No one's had to actively fight anyone in China. It's all this theory, Cold War stuff. And so people don't see it as a real threat, as we've seen so many different news stories and things like that from this region of the world that realistically, like, I don't think people understand how much is being done in the Pacific right now as just deterrence, as far as Navy ships going in and out of the South China Sea, as far as Marines being in Japan, as far as sailors being in Japan, as far as just different aircraft that are in this region for the purpose of deterrence is kind of crazy, and I think has been lost or forgotten about, but it looks like the new frontier or the new horizon is here. Now, that comes with the idea that U.S. Navy warships are going to be the majority of the DoD budget that is being proposed as we look at the new frontier of warships coming out, and we're looking at billions of dollars going to making those, as well as the fleet's getting larger and larger to address these new concerns. On top of that, we have seen that back in 2001 until I would say probably early 2010-ish, maybe as late as 2014, 2015, where people were still going in country doing stuff. I would say the last 5-ish, 6-ish years have very much died this idea down. But the idea of what's on your chest, where you went, where you've been, has been a story that has almost been a flex, as I have more experience because I've done this in country, I've done that in country. And now we look at it, and I think a lot of people are asking, how are we going to value what someone's done in the military? How do we know how to go back to peacetime entirely? Like, we've almost been there for several years where people are like, yeah, we're still doing stuff. Military still has a role. But now, what are we really doing? And that is going to drive some Marines nuts, by the way. But there have been people that have actually come out about this. There is a Navy Chief Petty Officer, which is a hospital corpsman, I'm assuming from his TikTok. But he actually comes out and makes a very valid point.
In that 3 seconds, every former, current, active, reserve U.S. military personnel looked down at my chest and deciphered a full story about me. If you read my story and you have a similar story and you're feeling a certain way right now, I want you to reach out. Yes, I'm in the medical field. Yes, mental health is something that I deal with day to day with other military personnel. But I'm also speaking on my behalf. These last 2 days has me feeling a certain way, and I think you are too. So I want to let you know my DMs are open. If you need to chat, I'll give you my phone number. If I need to chat, I'm going to reach out to some people that I look at for mentorship and who can empathize with how we feel. We always preach, I got your six, I got your back, blah, blah, blah. This is the time for that. Everybody stitch or duet this if you feel the same way.
As you can see from his TikTok, that story, you can tell the Afghanistan campaign medal. You can tell he has a combat action movement. You can tell he's actually done some stuff. He has an FMF pin on top of there. This guy is what I would say would be symbolic of someone that served in the early 2000s and did multiple pumps over there. And now it's like, where are those people at? A lot of them have gotten out. A lot of them were veterans already. And I would say kind of the next couple of years, that's going to be the end of it as we're looking at the 20 to 30 year mark where those people are going to be forced to retire out just because it's the end of their career. People were experiencing this stuff firsthand and able to say, this is what worked, didn't work, this is what we did in training, this is what was actually used, this is how we can get feedback and make things better, such as me, I'm a hospital corpsman, but there was medicine that has evolved from this. And so I look at it and I'm like, there's so much that has changed where I was learning how to do tourniquets with popsicle sticks and gauze to like, we had actual tourniquets that were used and every corpsman is going to have one now. And so it's like, I hope that this can continue, and this identity of continuing to not only train but develop can obviously come from that. And my own personal experience with this is it took me a couple days to process what is going on here. That is because I don't think I've told this story too many times, but I've never deployed to Afghanistan. I'm never going to act like I have. I haven't been in Iraq, any of that stuff, okay? So I will tell you that while I was not in Afghanistan, I did see first-hand results. So my first duty station was Naval Medical Center San Diego. That was in 2009. And I will never forget literally seeing people that were my age, 19, 20 years old, in wheelchairs with things that aren't on their body anymore, right? I'm going to just put it as that because of YouTube, but doing physical therapy and doing what they can to get back. And it was a shock to me as somebody that was that age, and I didn't even go over there. That is stuck with me to this day. This is real. Like, and as an 18, 19, 20-year-old, that's hard to understand. Like, that is a real place, like connecting as you're a brand new adult. But what about those people right now? And the secondary effects, tertiary effects, and on top of not only missing those parts of their body, but also looking at the birthdays missed, the holidays missed, the memories that aren't there, that these people went and left their homes to go away for sometimes a year, 18 months, if you don't remember at certain points. Imagine, only thing I could ever imagine this being equated to in the most relatable way for most people that I think that it would be is imagine making this extravagant sandcastle on the beach and someone just says, we got to go home, knock it down though. You can't keep that up. We got to make sure it's flat again. And it's like, we just did all this work. What was it for? You know, and it leaves people really questioning that. I definitely see that. And that's why that chief made that TikTok as well that you can check out. And he makes a good point. If you haven't reached out to somebody that has been in this conflict, please reach out to them and definitely say a few kind words, see how they're doing. And I promise it might go a lot further than you think. So what does this mean for the future of the U.S. military? Does that mean that we're going to go back? I think there's going to be some conflict that ends up out there. I think it'll be off the ship, kind of like how when President Obama was in office, there was that whole thing in Libya. I think it's going to be similar to that in the future as far as that goes, using air superiority and also just from ship to shore type stuff. That's what I think could be the future of this. Now, we spend a lot of money on the military. If we want to build ships, if we want to make the next peer-to-peer adversary possibly be less contentious as far as like putting our money where our mouth is, we're going to need to spend money other places. And I think that's where this will be the silver lining to the entire thing, but it's not a big silver lining. So as we continue, I guess, to kind of mourn this whole process, and if you are a Afghanistan veteran that went out there and served, I want to say thank you to you guys. And I also want to say, if you're watching this, please leave your story down below if there's something you want to share or your thoughts on this, because I think that's important and it is therapeutic for a lot of people to read the comments, as they might not be the only person that feels this way. And I would appreciate it if you can leave those down below. But as always, if you guys do have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.